Hello and welcome to the 5 Minute Film Club. This week I will be discussing Tobe Hooper's seminal horror film from 1974, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, last week when I randomly selected this film, you may have noticed that I was a little bit excited about it. Way. And so, over the next couple of minutes, I want to explain why. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre tells the story of a group of friends heading down to Texas to see whether one of their grandparents' graves has been desecrated, as there has been a spate of bodies being exhumed and grotesque art being made from them. What then unfolds for the teens is that they happen upon Leatherface, a hulking, chainsaw-wielding maniac who relentlessly starts taking them down one by one. Now, I first saw this film when it was broadcast really late at night on Channel 4 here in the UK as part of a Banned in the UK season, and I was 15, 16 and saw it with my dad. This was only a few years after the BBFC had actually allowed this film to be shown at all, and the print that Channel 4 screened was dirty and grimy and full of jumps here and there, and occasionally it would just do this. Yeah, this is what Tarantino and Rob Zombie both wish their films looked like. Now, I'd slowly been growing into all those kind of horror films from the 1980s, but here was a film that was completely different. It felt real. And I think one of the main successes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is its build-up. I mean, come on, you're sitting down to watch a film called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You kind of have a rough idea what you're going to get at some point in the film, and yet Tobe Hooper here plays with the audience's expectation and really does draw out the opening scenes. And that also means that when Gunnar Hansen eventually is unveiled as the ghoulish Leatherface and takes out the first kid, it is a big payoff. And one of the greatest, I think, character introductions in film ever. 40 years on, it is still effective. The film, I think, also benefits from the fact that it was made by a bunch of youngsters. And this film acted as a springboard for many of them to continue in the business. Tobe Hooper, the director, would go to work on Poltergeist with Steven Spielberg. Work with or against? We'll get into the conspiracy theories of Poltergeist when I actually review that film. You look at the cinematography by Daniel Pearl. Now, I know me and Dan have not been best of friends. I really don't like his work in Aliens vs Predator Requiem. I mean, the whole film's terrible, but anyway, you can watch that review here. His work on the Texas Chainsaw is really him throwing everything he has at a very small budget and creating such a varied palette. I mean, in the nighttime scenes, there's some wonderful blue hues. And the way he shoots the blue sky, it really does take you to Texas. Also, the set design team led by Robert Burns, who actually created Leatherface's mask, looks legit. It looks like it was made by Leatherface himself. Too often, you see slick horror films that just look like the killer has walked down to the nearest costume store and picked up whatever he can see. And also, the cast of completely unknowns, particularly that of Gunnar Hansen and Marilyn Burns, managed to bring humanity and reality into their very different parts. Watching this film for the first time in probably over 10 years now, I suddenly realised how much I really do like this film. Aside from bringing back memories of actually this film going with me to all the various kind of like house parties that were happening when I was 16, 17, it actually made me reassess the film itself and how it was made, and now I can say that I love it. It is such a raw and visceral experience and has a story that just keeps getting stranger and madder until its climax, where it just had me laughing at the screen despite all the horror that is actually on show. And I'm quite happy now to sit here alongside people like Nicholas Winding Refn, who, when he introduced film's 40th anniversary screening at Cannes, he gave this long, eloquent speech about the film's effect on him, and also the film as an art form. It transcends the screen. And I think from this point on, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's appreciation will only grow. For me, I can now see it as one of the greatest films ever made. And I feel that this film should be on film theory and practice courses at every university. Why? Because if you sit and you watch this film and you don't feel like picking up a camera and running out and just creating something yourself, then you're on the wrong course. Hello, thank you very much for watching the review. I have the book here, so we are going to select next week's film, and it is going to be... Okay, I can kind of look around everything else that's on this page, but actually I saw it there first. So next week I'm going to attempt to review 9.5 Weeks. Better go and check what's in the fridge.